Businesses have dealt with customers not paying their invoices over the years, but the pandemic has heightened the average number of customers who are not paying their invoices on time. And this is putting additional stress on business owners like you. As a business owner, you know that you need to receive payment on your customers' invoices to continue to have the cash flow that you need for your business to survive. Do you have any customer invoices that you're still waiting to collect payment on? Or are you one of those business owners who've been lucky enough so far in your business that you've been able to receive payment on all of your invoices? If you have invoices that have been unpaid or overdue, collecting on these accounts receivable amounts is very important for you. Make sure you track and ensure that you are still collecting on money that is due to your business. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about how you can manage your customer invoices, as well as the best practices to ensure that you're receiving payments on time. You may not even believe what the top reasons are that most customers have to say about not paying invoices, and the simple steps that you can take to get those payments on time. Whether you're getting ready to start your small business, you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, small business owner, virtual online bookkeeper, or virtual assistant, you're going to want to listen in to today's episode so that you can stay on top of your accounts receivable game. I even have tips for you about how you can eliminate the stress of tracking and receiving payments from your customers in the first place. You're listening to the Mastering Your Small Business Finances podcast, where we get straight to the point on topics that ultimately affect your bottom line. That's right, as an entrepreneur with a small business, money management, growth, marketing, they all affect your bottom line. I'm your host, Chris Ponick. I'm a certified public accountant, and I've been helping small business owners like you navigate and easily understand these complicated topics for over 25 years. I'm a wife, a mom, a grandmother, and a small business owner myself, so I know your time is valuable. In my free time, I make the best sugar cookies and have mastered an amazing chocolate chip cookie recipe. And that's not just my opinion. You're in the right place. I promise your time will be well spent here. Each week, you'll gain confidence and clarity while making a successful impact on your business and grow your bottom line. Get comfy, grab a cookie, and let's get straight to the point with this week's episode. Are you looking for a computerized software solution to do your bookkeeping? I highly recommend checking out QuickBooks Online. I've been using QuickBooks myself for over 20 years, and they really know how to streamline processes and make your bookkeeping and recording your transactions simple and easy. QuickBooks is one of the top software solutions used by small business owners, and I would say that over 95% of my clients are currently using QuickBooks for their businesses. One of the features most of my clients and I take advantage of is the option to set up bank feeds. You simply link your bank account to your QuickBooks account, and QuickBooks will automatically import each transaction into your QuickBooks file. You'll save a ton of time not having to manually enter each of these transactions. You simply review each of the transactions and make sure they're getting recorded to the appropriate account, and then click one button and they're in. Want to know more? Head over to financialadventure.com/QuickBooks and learn how you can save 50% off of your first 3 months. Welcome back. We all know that owning a business can be stressful, but if there are steps that you can take to be proactive about situations in your business that could be causing you stress, wouldn't you jump at the chance to ensure these steps are being done in your business? Why not eliminate that stress altogether? One of the top issues business owners have is collecting on the sales of products or services that they offer in their business. If you're not collecting payment for your product or service at the time of the sale, then you need to invoice your customer for the amount that they owe. These amounts are due to your business and are called accounts receivable. Keeping track of your accounts receivable and ensuring you're receiving all these payments is crucial for the survival of your business. First, I'm going to ask you how you are accepting payments. One of the first steps you can make to avoid having to track down your customers and receive your payments is to get your payments at the time of the purchase or sale. You can do this by accepting cash or check or using some sort of digital payment such as debit card, credit card, or even Venmo or PayPal. By collecting your payment up front, you'll eliminate the need to track each customer's purchase and send out reminders for them to pay their bill. This will not only help your cash flow, but it will save you a ton of time making calls to your customers to receive your payments. If you're unable to collect all your payments up front from your customers, you'll need to send invoices to your customers. You'll want to make sure that you take some time to consider what your payment terms will be. You may want to have your payment terms be payable upon receipt of the invoice. By doing this, as soon as your customer receives their invoice, the bill would be due, and they should be paying you right away. This is becoming more and more popular, and customers are getting used to the idea of needing to pay the invoice as soon as they receive it. You could also set a certain number of days in which the invoice is due. You could set this due date as 10, 15, 20, or even 30 days from the date of the invoice. Just remember that if you feel like you need the payments from these invoices quickly, that you set your due dates with a shorter date range. You also want to make sure that whenever you're invoicing your customer, that you do this on a timely basis. As soon as you invoice your customer, you're actually starting the clock on the amount of time they have to pay the invoice according to the terms you set on your invoice. Let's say you wait 2 weeks to invoice your customer. You have just given them 2 additional weeks for them to hold on to the money that you need to run your business. Make sure you're invoicing your customers right away. If you are invoicing your customers, you could be writing manual invoices or you could have a computerized system. If you're writing manual invoices, make sure that you have a way to track who still owes you money. One of the biggest problems many small business owners make is to not track their accounts receivable. Don't just send out your invoices to your customers and trust that they will pay you. You need to keep a system to ensure each of those invoices are paid, and you'll need to follow up on anyone who has not paid their invoice. If you're using a manual system for your invoices, you could set up a tracking system for who owes your money by using a simple spreadsheet, or you could even keep a copy of each invoice until it's been paid. If you're using a computerized system, such as QuickBooks, every time you create an invoice, it will automatically show this invoice in your accounts receivable. You can easily run an accounts receivable summary listing to see which customers owe you money, how much money they owe you, and how past due they are on their payments. You will need to set up a collections process for your unpaid invoices. There are business owners who have waited over 6 months to over a year to receive payments on invoices. Decide on how often you will follow up with your customers on their unpaid invoices. One of the most common reasons customers say they have not paid their invoice is simply because they never received an invoice in the first place. If you set up a system to follow up with any customer who hasn't paid their invoice by a certain number of days, this will help to find any of those customers who say they never received their invoice, and it will hopefully speed up the receipt of these payments. I would recommend following up with any unpaid invoice over 30 days past due at a minimum. This is also a great reminder if they did receive your invoice but didn't realize the payment terms and that the invoice was due. If you find that your customers are not paying, you may be in a situation where you need to take out a loan or even funnel personal money into your business just to sustain the cash flow that your business needs. To avoid situations like this, staying on top of your accounts receivable, following up with any unpaid invoice, or even making sure to collect payments up front will save you from needing a loan or your personal funds to continue your operations. This is why you should be monitoring your accounts receivable closely. Another reason why customers state that they haven't paid invoices in the past is that they don't have the money. I know the pandemic has really brought this reason up to the top of the list. Some customers say they just forgot or they lost the invoice. Others may say that they were out of the office and just didn't get a chance to make the payment yet. You can overcome many of these situations with a quick phone call or an email to your customer to follow up on an unpaid invoice. Your customer may not have an organized system in place on their end, and by having your systems organized and in place in your business, as well as staying on top of your unpaid invoices, you could easily get paid sooner just by helping them know what is due to you. You know that the pandemic has caused major changes in the way business is being done. More and more businesses have switched over to digital payments. By doing this, you will be more likely to get paid, and even if you are sending your customers invoices, just by having the option for them to pay by credit card will likely help you get paid faster than the traditional payment methods like checks. Many customers prefer using credit cards as a payment method. If you have been holding back because of the additional fees, it may be a good time to do a small price increase on your products or services to help cover any additional charges you could encounter if you make the switch to digital payments such as credit cards. If you need help setting up a system to track your accounts receivable and make sure that you are receiving payment for all your products and services, let me know. This is an important part of your bookkeeping process and will definitely help your business's cash flow. You can go to financialadventure.com/contact-us and let me know if you'd like help. I'll post a link where you're listening to this podcast so that you can contact me. I want you to know that I'm here for you if you ever have questions or need help with your bookkeeping. If you're looking to outsource your bookkeeping, depending on the number of transactions you have per month, you could get your bookkeeping done for as little as $97 per month. And don't forget, you can reduce your stress levels even more by making sure that you grab a copy of the 5 Essentials for Stress-Free Bookkeeping. This guide is helpful whether you're doing your own bookkeeping for your business or you're doing bookkeeping for multiple businesses. You can grab this free guide by going to financialadventure.com/5essentials. That's the number 5 ESSENTIALS. All right, to recap this episode. Number 1, one of the top issues business owners have is collecting on products or services that they sell and offer in their business. If you're not collecting payment for your product or services at the time of the sale, then you need to invoice your customers for the amount that they owe you. Number 2, one of the first steps you can make to avoid having to track down your customers and receive your payments is to get your payments at the time of the purchase or sale. By collecting your payment up front, you'll eliminate the need to track each customer's purchase and send out reminders for them to pay their bill. This will not only help your cash flow, but it will save you a ton of time making calls to your customer to receive your payments. Number 3, if you're unable to collect all your payments up front from your customers, you will need to send out invoices to your customers. Number 4, set up your payment terms. You may want to have your payment terms be payable upon receipt of the invoice, or you could also set a certain number of days in which the invoice is due. You could set this due date as 5, 10, 15, 20, or even 30 days from the date of the invoice. Number 5, you want to make sure that whenever you are invoicing your customer that you do this on a timely basis. Get your invoicing done as soon as possible. Number 6, if you're invoicing your customers, you could be writing manual invoices or you might have a computerized software system. One of the biggest problems many small business owners make is to not track their accounts receivable. You need to keep a system to ensure each of these invoices are being paid, and you'll need to follow up with anyone who has not paid their invoice. Number 7, you need to set up a collections process for your unpaid invoices. Deciding on how often you will follow up with your customers on their unpaid invoices is up to you. I would recommend following up with any unpaid invoices over 30 days past due at the very minimum. Number 8, if you find that your customers are not paying, you may be in a situation where you need to take out a loan or even fund money into your business personally just to sustain the cash flow your business needs. To avoid situations like this, stay on top of your accounts receivable, follow up with any unpaid invoice, and make sure to collect payments up front if possible. Number 9, some customers say they just forgot or lost their invoice. Others may say that they were out of the office and just didn't get a chance to make the payment. It doesn't matter what their excuses are, you can overcome many of these situations with a quick phone call or an email to your customer to follow up on an unpaid invoice. Number 10, more and more businesses have switched over to digital payments. By doing this, you'll more likely get paid, and even if you are sending your customers invoices, just by having the option for them to pay by credit card will likely help you get paid faster than the traditional payment methods. And you know I'm going to ask, what's at least one thing that you will take away from this episode that will help your business succeed and grow your bottom line? If you need some accountability, join our private Facebook community and post your action item. We'd love to support you. Thanks for taking the time to tune into this episode of Mastering Your Small Business Finances. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it for you, I'd love for you to give it a 5-star rating and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. Visit financialadventure.com for the show notes, links from this episode, and while you're there, leave a comment if you have a topic you're interested in learning more about that affects your bottom line. If you're looking for a community where you can ask questions and get feedback about your small business, join my private Facebook group. You can find the links to this group and more on financialadventure.com. And remember, any financial information shared on this podcast is not to be considered professional, financial, or tax advice and should not be solely relied upon. Please consult your CPA or tax advisor for an opinion on your specific circumstances. I'm looking forward to having you tune in next time. Until then, dream big, follow your heart, and love what you do.